All right, today's an exciting day in the Kofer household. Last year we started a new tradition, and this year we're following it up. So I guess in year 2, that makes it formally a tradition.
It's official.
So I'm Steve Kofer. This is my daughter Meredith. We're getting ready to go take in a Pirates game. So more than just that, we're gonna spend the day together. We have a couple of destinations to hit along the way. So I'm really excited first about stopping down at 5 Star Cycles down in Sagertown, Pennsylvania. That's the place where I bought my motorcycle last year, and I just want to pop in there to maybe pick up some accessories or look at bikes. I don't know. Part of me sort of has Upgrade-itis already, but I hope I can keep that at bay. So that'll be part of Meredith's jobs to make sure I don't walk out of there with a new motorcycle today or something. And then Meredith has a stop that she picked out after that. Why don't you tell us about it?
So I went to Dover Saddlery in Buffalo, New York on my way to a trip in Canada, and I picked up a bunch of stuff to get ready for English riding lessons. So I got basically a whole starter pack. But now I need another pair of spurs because the horse I've been training on is a little lazy than other horses. So I need a more aggressive spur to keep him going. That's what I'm shopping for today.
Nice. So yeah, let us know in the comments below. If you're into motorcycles, how do you keep Upgrade-itis at bay? Or if you're into horses, how do you motivate a lazy horse? I'd love to hear about it.
So just clean for now. Alright. So to mark the dots, I'm actually going to have you stand right there facing me. Have you lay back down for me. Okay, so I'm going to see how I'm going to hold everything. Once I'm ready, I'll have you take a deep breath, exhale, we'll do one more, and on that second exhale. Okay, so 2 deep breaths for me. And can you put your arms up a little bit? Or, yeah, whatever. Alright, deep breath for me. Alright, you were bedazzled. Yeah. And then I'm going to go over after here, and then there's a mirror right around the corner. I'll have you check it out. Okay.
All right, we're on the way down to Pittsburgh right now, and want to tell you, share a little story with you, something that happened yesterday. So I was at home just kind of minding my own business, doing some editing up in my office. And my wife comes in and tells me, she said,
Steve, Will bought Meredith a promise ring. Are we okay with that?
I was like, sure, I'm a pretty easygoing guy. So in preparation for that, I said, okay, I need to put a little bit of fear into Will here, so I better do something about this. Let's prank him. So I went into the closet, grabbed my Red Ryder BB Pew Pew, and brought that out. I'm sure I looked pretty menacing walking downstairs with that and then coming around the corner. And it's like, so what's going on, guys? And so that was my experience with the promise ring. So I'll let Meredith tell you her experience.
I mean, basically, he just bought me this ring. He had a corny little speech, of course. And I think the funny thing I need to point out is this is my mom's old promise ring that my dad got her years ago. And my boyfriend totally one-upped him.
Yes, that little punk. I can't believe he one-upped me with a bigger, more beautiful ring. Oh, well, I'll tell you what. When I bought that promise ring for my wife, I was in college. It was over $300 at the time. It's gold, has 3 diamonds in it. And for me, that was a lot of money. Like if you're a starving college student, 300 bones, I mean, that's a lot of scratch. So Meredith, maybe explain for me and for the folks listening, what is a promise ring?
I mean, a lot of people have different meanings. It's kind of just another commitment thing. I mean, think of an engagement ring. It's a promise to get married. I guess a promise ring is just a promise to, stay together, work through things, and, hopefully one day get married.
That's cool. So you're basically saying, okay, we're not going to play the field. We're going to stick together.
Yep. I don't have time for that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to date in this day and age. The whole idea of online dating is absolutely terrifying to me. I can't imagine what that must be like for all you single folks out there. That must be a real challenge. Cool. So yeah, beautiful ring. Beautiful promise. Will's a good guy, so I'm happy about it. I think it's pretty exciting. So one of the things I will share with you today too, probably could be a topic of another video, but we got to celebrate Will's baptism this past Sunday. So a couple days ago, he was baptized at our church, and wow, what an amazing day! We currently have an interim pastor that's serving our congregation, and he's the one who kind of performed the baptism sacrament, and it was just beautiful. We don't at our church do baptism by submersion or whatever, where you go down to the river or the lake and you get dunked in the water. Instead, we basically just have like holy water that they kind of rub on their head during the baptism. But it was really nice. I think one of the things that really stuck out to me from the baptism that I think is a great lesson for us all is one day, Will basically came up to him and kind of started pounding his chest and said, "I've got to do something." And by that, he said, "I'm ready to go be baptized." So I think it was really cool that he shared that additional example of how Will knew, like, hey, I need to take this next step in my faith. He's never been baptized. He knew he wanted to do that. So I thought that was pretty cool how he did that, how he approached it. And, I'm sure there was probably some anxiety, maybe some fear, some uncertainty about what would come with that, right? Because that's a huge step to give your life to Jesus Christ. And for him to take that step, I'm just really proud of him. happy that he has taken that next step, and really excited for to see what the future brings for him as he continues to grow in his faith. How about you, Meredith? What did you think about Will's baptism, and what does it mean for you and for your relationship?
I thought it was really great. I think it's a really good step for his own growth and for our growth in our relationship. I think, again, it was just another form of commitment. There definitely was some anxiety. He didn't know when he was going to be ready to get baptized, but he knew when the time was right. He really felt a connection with this pastor. He knew it was time. I'm very proud of him. The day went perfectly. We had a lunch after. That was great. All of his family was there, which was even better. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it really was a perfect day. Yeah, beautiful weather, great gathering, great time of fellowship, and just really happy with how it all played out. So yeah, now he's attending our worship services regularly at the church. He's participating in the Sunday school. I'm sure he's learning a lot during the class. What are you guys studying in your Sunday school class?
We have a teen Bible study on Sunday mornings, 10 to 11, and we are reading this book called Why the Bible Makes Life Make Sense. And it's really good. I highly recommend to anyone, any age.
Excellent. Have there been any real like aha moments for you in that study yet, where you said, okay, this is something I've never really thought about this way before, but it's something I can apply in my life?
Yeah, totally. It talks about sharing the gospel with people. It talks about why God lets bad things happen to good people. It really answers a lot of questions. Next week, we're starting a new section in the book on relationships, which is good timing.
Yeah, maybe. Well, let's see what the study says about promise rings. Huh?
Yeah, I'll get back to you.
We'll let you know how that goes. No, that's exciting. And those are a couple of really good, important topics. I think, like you said, for believers or non-believers of any age. So that's great. That I think it's awesome that you're taking that step to grow in your faith through the education aspect of a Sunday school class. That's a really great program that our church has. Most churches do. If you're interested in that, I would encourage you to go check out a church that offers a Sunday school class. Whether, in her case, it's a teen Sunday school class. In my case, it would be an adult Sunday school class, but most churches have them for all ages. And it is important, I think, to keep that education aspect of your faith moving throughout your life. I will say personally, for several years, I taught a Sunday school class at our church, and we went through a bunch of different Bible studies. Some of my favorites that come to mind were with Chip Ingram, Kyle Eidelman was amazing, Francis Chan, just some really deep studies. And I think that's a great way to build your faith, is through a small group. I think small group studies are, in my opinion, the number one way to grow in your faith.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you see that too in your experience?
Yeah, and actually there was kind of a gap between the Sunday school classes at our church. We had a group for young kids and an adult study, and there was nothing for teens. So I don't want to boast by any means, but I started this teen Bible study and it has really grown, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool, Meredith. I think that's a great example for us all, where if there's something in your life that you're not happy with, you have a couple options, right? You could just ignore it. You could and hope it goes away, or you can do like what Meredith did. You could
take matters into your own hands.
Yeah, exactly. Like say, hey, it's a little bit cliche, but they say, be the change that you want to see in the world. And that's exactly what she's done with the Sunday school class. Is she recognized a need out there, said, hey, you know what? We really need a good Sunday school class for these teens and young adults. And I think it's been a great experience so far. I think generally they have what, eight to 10 students that show up. Is that
Yeah,
about right?
I think on the very low end, we'll have 4 or 5 kids. On the high end, I think we'll have 13 to 15. It's great.
So I know getting it started, you were very intentional about what kind of things you wanted to bring to it, to kind of set the stage for the class and for the study.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to maybe say a few words about how you planned it and set it up, and how you launched it, and how are you so successful in drawing students into that study?
So the students that we draw in were mostly already coming to church, but again, we just didn't have a group for the teens. And then a lot of them we invited in. I mean, I didn't really have many Christian friends, so I took it upon myself to make them. So in terms of the Bible study, the environment I wanted to make very comfortable, because it can be very intimidating. If you're totally new to this stuff, it can be uncomfortable and intimidating for sure.
Yep.
So we made it very comfortable. It's very relaxed. We talk a lot. We have snacks every morning. There's a little coffee bar, things like that. It's just a table with some comfy chairs. Everyone, I feel like, can speak freely. There's no pressure to do homework when you go home. You can bring the book home, but you don't have to read it in between. There's no pressure to read if you don't want to. I mean, I think it's just the most important thing is that people are going to the class. I mean, something will stick eventually, is my hope.
Do any of them just come for the coffee and the iced coffee that you guys have?
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe.
How about the Amish donuts that have a tendency to make its way into class?
It's possible, but hey, I mean, we're talking the whole time. They have to listen to us if they want to or not.
Oh, that's great. No, I think those are some really good tips for anybody that wants to start a small group, in this case, a Sunday school class. But it could be anything else, right? So even if you wanted to start a book club, or maybe like a running club, or sky's the limit. I guess you're only limited by your own creativity on what kind of small group that you could start. But I think it's, and I've mentioned this in other videos, where I think that's really the key to building strong friendships and strong relationships, if you're starting from scratch like that, is to find a common interest, something that you can all learn from each other about. And I think Sunday school is a great example, but maybe you're in an area where maybe you don't have a lot of friends. I know that's a common problem with adults, as I've discussed in other videos. Like developing friendships as an adult it's a real challenge, and that's one of the best ways I think that I would encourage you to approach that situation. Maybe not as much if you're school age, right, like Meredith is, but one thing I'll mention to you is Meredith's education is a little bit different than her peers. She does do an online charter school, which has been absolutely fantastic, at Pennsylvania Virtual Charter School. And she's done that from kindergarten up through 10th grade. And now she's going into her junior year. She's absolutely crushing it. And her studies and grades have never been better. But I think that puts her at a little bit of a challenge around making friends, because she's not just automatically put into a group
Yeah.
of friends every day where you all have something in common, and that, hey, you're at the same school, in the same class, right? Because all her school's online, like Zoom sort of thing.
You definitely have to be intentional.
Yeah, I'm sure. But you've had pretty good success at that. I would say you've definitely not had any challenges there. Right? You have
Yep.
lots of friends.
Yeah.
All the friends you want.
I think it's actually a blessing because I get to choose my friends. I'm not just around everyone 5 days out of the week. I get to specifically choose the people I want to be around.
Yeah, that's actually, that was something I was thinking about last night. When we went and watched Meredith's boyfriend Will play basketball yesterday, and he's playing in a summer league, and we were sitting with some other adults and that, and Will's mom asked Meredith about going to help out with something, and I thought it was pretty great. And Meredith was like, she asked, and Meredith just said no, like you barely even needed to think about it.
Nope.
That's, I think, a lesson that a lot of adults need to learn as well. And I'll probably do a video on this at some point in the future too. But I think it's important that adults recognize. I think it's great that Meredith can, at such a young age. I know when I was that age, I probably would have struggled to say no, because I try to be more of a people pleaser than anything, I guess. So I think it's actually really a good thing that Meredith can recognize, like, no, I've got goals, I've got aspirations, and that, taking what I think would have been better part of half a day to go do something probably wouldn't necessarily align with your goals and your aspirations. So you just said no. And another great thing I think with that is she didn't give a long, drawn out response. She simply said no. It's a great reminder that no is a complete sentence. You don't need to back that up with a big explanation why you're not going to do something. But instead, rather, just, you can say no. So one of the things that maybe I would encourage, if you're in that situation like that again, and this is something I picked up from the book The Next Conversation from Jefferson Fisher that I recently read. One way to maybe, like sometimes if you just say no, that can, like, people aren't used to hearing that oftentimes, especially if you're somebody that's, used to always getting your way. I'm not saying that she's that kind of person or anything, but there's a lot of people that are that way. One of the things I learned from Jefferson's book was you can start out by thanking them. I think that's helpful. Like, for example, if somebody asks you, hey, do you want to help out with this event? And you want to say no, you can say, oh, thank you for asking. I'm really flattered that you thought of me and you think I would do a good job with that. And then basically say, no, I can't do it this time. Right. Or, and you can leave it at that. So that's I think one tip I'll share with you today. So one of the things I've been trying to learn more about lately is communication, how to be a more effective communicator. And that's one thing that I think is important, is how do you say no to people? Say it tactfully, say it assertively, and in such a way that, you want to make sure you're not hurting the other person's feelings and things like that, but you're still, being assertive in how you're approaching it and being very clear with the person that, hey, this isn't going to work for me. I'm not going to do it. So any thoughts on that, Meredith?
No, I think no is a complete sentence. I don't think you have to ever explain yourself. I mean, if they ask for an explanation, you probably should give them an explanation. Don't be rude. But I think yes and no are a complete answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a little communication tip for you today, in case you were wondering. Maybe that's something you struggle with. I know it is something I still struggle with, but I'm getting better all the time as I work to build my own success.